Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gamer Social Club Weekly News Podcast. We are recording on the 17th of July, 2025. It's another relatively warm evening here in the UK. And of course, I am your host, as always, Harry, aka Knavish Crayfish. And we are running a trio today. We have got no empathy, only daggers, Lady V. She is back with us today. How are you, Lady V?
I'm good, thanks. Think I'm starting to come down with a little something. So if I sound a bit weird, it's probably that. But I'm good regardless.
Well, you're coming through loud and clear, so that's good. And of course, we have our very own Steam Deck verified Mark, aka We Are Working the Hive. How are you, my friend?
I'm really good. Thanks, Harry. So, it's been a busy week of gaming. Looking forward to talking about plenty that I've got my time around the last 7 days. So, really good to be here again.
Fantastic. Yep. If you are a regular watcher, you know all about this that's coming up. We are about to go through the rigmarole, and for all of you who are new to this, hello, welcome. We are a few members of the Gamer Social Club who are a crew of passionate unprofessionals who love gaming and write about it in all different ways, from news, reviews, previews, editorials, guides, and interviews, and anything else we can frankly think of. You can check that all out on our website at www.gamersocialclub.ca. And we are also here on YouTube. We have a channel which you can obviously subscribe to as well. And we do also have our weekend party chat podcast. And we have the GSC Girl Pod, which goes up on the Monday, is it, V?
Mondays, yeah, Monday afternoons.
Excellent. Yeah. So you've got those that you can find all on our channel here, alongside any guide videos that we also do on occasion. We are getting into the habit of doing more of those, hopefully going forward. So yeah, always worth checking back for any of that sort of stuff. And if I didn't mention that as well, we also do guides, written guides and material like that over on our website as well. Three things you're going to know about us over at the Gamer Social Club, three pillars, as it were. We are a fully independent grassroots site driven by our passion and love for gaming. We run everything through a rumor-free filter when it comes to news. So anything you get from us, you can be sure is factually correct at the time of reporting, and we intend to keep it updated moving forward. We don't rush to get the story out. We would rather be accurate, than the first to the scene. For your benefit, hopefully. And finally, any game that we review, we make sure we see credits. And if it's the sort of game that doesn't have that sort of setup, if it's a racing game, say, or it's a sports title, then we are going to play a hell of a lot of it before we review that game. So you can be sure that we have really gotten to grips with it when it comes to giving you our thoughts and opinions on it. And I think that's the majority of the rigmarole. We'll do a little bit at the end just to tidy up. But if you liked today's video, think about leaving a like. If you've got anything you'd like to share with us or any feedback you have, drop in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more of this sort of content, please subscribe to the channel. And with that, we'll move into our first segment, which is always what we have been playing. And since you're back this week, V, why don't you kick us off with what you've been playing?
I was lucky enough at the start of the week to get a code for the 2 Point Museum DLC. So I reviewed that earlier on in the year. And it was really, really good fun. I think I give it like an 8.5. But I love the 2 Point games. I don't know if either of the two of you have played them, but they're super, super fun. And lots of like very stupid, but very sort of British humour to them, which I also enjoy a lot. But the new DLC is a new expedition. So if you played the games, to get relics for your museum, you have to send your experts out on expeditions to pick them up. And this one is called Fantasy Find. So it's an expedition in an area called Scorched Earth, and it's essentially like a little pretend D&D campaign. So it's really good fun. You get fantasy experts to work in your museum. But they all come with stats, so they can be like a wizard, or they can be a barbarian or a bard. I think a rogue is the last one, and they have like 4 stats. And they level up the way that all the rest of your staff level up by going on expeditions or doing stuff around, doing tasks around the museum and things like that. But as they level up, their stats also level up, and then you have to teach them new skills so that you can unlock different parts of the expedition. So you need like a potion master to go a certain place, and you need to take a certain potion to another one. But yeah, it's really, really fun. It makes the expedition bit like a lot more prominent than it normally is in the game. So yeah, you have to send your experts out on expeditions a lot in the main game. But when you get like enough artifacts and stuff like that, you might get a little bit more into the minutiae of like micromanaging your museum. Try to put on the perfect tour, or make sure that the school trip goes to the canteen so you get a bonus. Like stuff like that. All the stuff that's just really fun to do in the 2 Point games, even though when you say it out loud it sounds dull as fuck. But yeah, this one really focuses on the expedition and making sure you like level people up enough. Although it does have a really heavy emphasis on the missing in action status that can happen. So in certain of the expeditions, your experts can die essentially.
Oh no.
So and that happens in the main game, but it's not as common at all in the main game. But this one, it happens quite a lot. But because in order to get their stats up, you have to level them up by sending them on expeditions, it can make it seem just a bit grindy, which is like a wild negative to say about a management sim, which is essentially just grinding. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, having to hire like a new member of staff in because the other one like fell down a cavern, died, which did happen. It was a little bit annoying because I was like, all right, I need to just grind them up on the first area now to get them to a high enough level so I can go fight this dragon where inevitably someone else is going to fucking die. So yeah, it is good fun. All the new relics are very fun, and like the new interactive displays are fun. There's like new fantasy characters that can come visit your museum, and you get all your shiny stickers if you give them a good tour. But I think just maybe a little bit less of the missing in action thing. I could have taken that. You can now put memorials of your dead staff in the museum. So now there's a lot of those, which seems kind of morbid, but
like a
but,
mausoleum in the middle of your museum.
Yeah, just got like a little row of just like little memorials to all these people that I sent to their deaths because obviously I'm a terrible boss. But but yeah, it was really good fun. I am excited to potentially just jump back in and play around some more. I played so many hours of 2 Point Hospital, and 2 Point Museum is like, it's so good. It's just like you want to get more stars in all of your museums, and just okay, I'm going to put the prices up just by 1%, and hopefully that'll make people not too mad about it. But then we can afford more stuff, and it's a great little jump in and out game. There's no stress to it. So I'm excited to go and choose some of the other options, because there are also a lot of options in the new expedition bit, much like an actual D&D campaign. So what happens if you open the chest that is clearly a mimic is definitely a mimic. Why is it saying words? Like, or what happens if you let the dragon kill the other place? Like, so yeah, I'm excited for it, to play more of it. And it was fun, and I did a little review of it, which is on the site. So if you want to read more of my thoughts on it, then you can check that out there. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Some other things here and there, but we're not allowed to talk about those yet. But hopefully by next podcast, maybe actually when you check the dates. But
yeah, no, that sounds awesome. I mean, I think we've talked about like these sort of old sim games and sim management games from back in the day, like your roller coaster tycoons, your theme park worlds, your theme hospital, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, loved playing those sort of games. And I played the 2 Point Hospital. I haven't played 2 Point Museum yet, and this DLC sounds fantastic. But what I thought was really funny is how the way you were describing it, like the way kind of like D&D meets like tour kind of situation, it sounds like sort of like Dungeons of Hinterberg, which I started playing last night, where it's the whole thing of like these dungeons have appeared like in the like somewhere in like sort of Europe, and you go on a vacation there to become a monster slayer. And it's like there's like a nice sort of Alpine-esque kind of environment to go and visit in Hinterberg, and like all these other locales, and meet the locals and make friends, and it's
Renault, who we love. We love Renault. Like, have you met Renault? Like,
not yet. No. I'm like 5 days in, I think, on the calendar, so I've met a couple of people, but not many yet.
well,
Yeah, obviously
yeah.
met like Klaus, I think, who's the chap who takes you in there, and to your first dungeon. And yeah, I've met one or two other like interesting characters along the way. But so far, I think I'm maybe like a buddy with one of them. But no, I'm really enjoying it, and it's been my downtime game. It's one that's been on my backlog for since it came out, which I think was last year or maybe 2023. I can't remember.
No, it was last year.
Was
I
it
think it
last
was
year?
one of Dano's like game of the years last year. I remember
Yeah.
I played it when it first came out and like 100%ed it like over a weekend. And then I played it again for the Renault DLC that came out on PlayStation early on this year. So it's good. It's
Right.
good.
Yeah. So
We
yeah,
love Renault.
been really enjoying that. That was great fun. Yeah, and then other than that, for the site, I got the chance to play The Drifter and do that and write a review for that, which has come out today. That is a point and click, like noir, gritty thriller with a sort of supernatural tinge to it from Powerhoof, who are the studio behind Crawl, which I think came out in maybe like 2019. I had a really good time with it. As I said, my review is up on the site. You can go check that out. And I was super impressed. Like, again, grew up playing a lot of point and click adventure games on PC, with like the Discworld games, Simon the Sorcerer, Monkey Island, of course, and then like later on, like the Tim Schafer joints, like Day of the Tentacle and Full Throttle, that sort of thing. Love those, but I've always kind of had in my mind this idea that they're always kind of wacky, goofy, and like out of left field ideas that don't make sense until you finish the puzzle. Then you can look back and kind of see whatever logic they were trying to make. And the Drifter kind of moves away from that because it's got a much more serious tone to it. As much as it gets kind of crazy and over the top by the end of it, it's going for a much more kind of like grounded and like, yeah, as I said, kind of like noir thriller kind of feel to it. And yeah, really enjoyed that. If anyone's looking for a cool point and click adventure game that isn't too long, the puzzles I think are pretty much throughout really good, very logical, great. You can kind of rationalize everything pretty much. Very few moments where I got like super stuck with anything. Yeah, and a very cool kind of like replay mechanic that is like built into the story. And again, definitely think it's worth checking out. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Mark, finish us off. What have you been playing this week?
I've been playing a couple of things. First of all, that I can't talk about, and I really can't wait to actually. One of those is I think I've been interested in a long time, so I'm really looking forward to sharing thoughts with people towards the end of the month. But because a lot of my gaming time has been taken up with these things I can't talk about, all of my other time has been taking up my forever guilty pleasure, which is lots of Call of Duty Warzone. So jumping straight onto the podcast tonight after wearing this headset for a few hours session on that, and I'm absolutely melting now. And we've been wearing this headset for a good hour yet, and it's a bloody killer in the British summer. But yeah, there's been a season 4.5 update recently, changing up some of the gameplay. So there's lots of new items on the map, which such as new kill streaks, new ways to get involved. And me and the guys have been having quite a bit of success recently. We're absolutely not experts. We think we were back in the heyday of 2020 lockdown Warzone. We were all right then, but we're older men now, and we kind of suck. But yeah, we're having a great time, and I mean, there's lots of Beavis and Buttheads running around in the 150 player lobbies now. And I've definitely used some of the free Beavis and Butthead skins, which look absolutely shite. But you know what? I'm one of those people that if you want to buy a skin, all power you. Like, hate on them all you want. But if you want to buy a skin, somebody wants to part money, do what you want. But you know what? It doesn't change the game for me. So yeah, that's always going to be my guilty pleasure. And aside from what I can't talk about, that's been my time this last week. And yeah, I just wish I had even more time for COD. But sadly I don't. But we did get the news this week, actually. Sorry, B, go on.
No, I was just going to say, we should only have to go back to 2020 for the last time you were good at COD. I think I have to go back to original Modern Warfare 2. Like,
yeah,
it was the last time I was any good at COD. Like,
Oh man,
Oh,
yeah.
I missed the OG COD days. They were tremendous. I think if it wasn't for Call of Duty 2, I don't think I'd be the online gamer that I am now. That
Mm.
was kind of the breaking in point right back in probably 2006, finishing school. Definitely flunked my GCSEs because I got Xbox Live about a month before my exams.
Mm.
And like
Oh
in
no.
hindsight, I really wish my parents never allowed that. Probably knocked me back in life quite a bit, but um,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been card ever since, and I think there's only been a few that I've never played. At least online, I think I've finished every campaign. And with Black Ops 7 coming back this year, I'll be there for that too. But Warzone is my forever game, which like everyone has their other forever games. So yeah, that's been my gaming time.
Oh man, that's good. I'm very glad you've been enjoying it. And again, like short, again, I know we chatted a bit beforehand about this before we started recording about the goofy skins now coming into Call of Duty. But as you say, it doesn't change anything for you. If anything, they're probably easy to spot. Like that's the way I see it. Like when you when you see these sort of cartoony skins coming into Call of Duty, Fortnite, it was like, well, everyone's bright and colorful and stands out. But like in Call of Duty, like half the skins are people dressed in camouflage, and you could have dressed to try and not be seen, and then you got Don Corleone running around.
Was there not a
Yeah.
skin that not last year's COD, but the year before? Was there not a skin that got banned in multiplayer because it essentially made you invisible?
Yeah,
Is it the
there's been
one where it makes you
several.
look like a tree lady, like or something?
Oh
Like,
wow.
You basically look like Groot, and
yeah.
you just couldn't be seen in any foliage. There's been the Terminator skin was kind of reworked about 6 months ago because that basically made you invisible in corridors. It's the skin called Rose. That was the infamous OG Warzone invisibility skin. But man, like cut skins are just a time. Love them or hate them. Everybody talks about them, whether you love it or you hate it. And
Yeah.
like you say, Harry, if somebody's running around as Butthead in the middle of a map, their head's easier to see to shoot. So, more of
That's a
that the
good
better.
idea.
Bring them on,
That
light them
man.
up.
Talk about the perfect characters for headshots, like the two cartoons with the biggest noggins. So much, just so much, so much area. It's great. Uh, but anyway, so yeah, that's what we've been
Shinier head
playing.
than me.
What was that?
Shinier heads than me.
Exactly. Oh dear. But yeah, that has been what we've been playing this week. And of course, that means we're going to go into the news now. Finally, about nearly 18 minutes into this. But hey, that's what we do here. Uh, this week we're going to talk a lot about like the kind of interesting multimedia announcements that have sort of cropped up over the last, well, really actually like last 24 hours. The week has been relatively quiet for news. There's been one or two bits here and there, but today we saw at least three, if not four, headlines, all kind of based around gaming related media projects being announced or greenlit, that sort of thing. So I think we're gonna kind of have a look at those and maybe talk about the idea of video game films and TV shows, and is there more merit now? We've had obviously the Last of Us series, we've had the Fallout series, Sonic the Hedgehog's had 3 films, Mario's had 1. They've all manner of things. Like there's a lot going on. There's also some bad stuff, obviously there always is. But are we now entering this period where there's maybe a bit more trust, a little bit more confidence in what we're making? So yeah, we're gonna kind of run through a couple of those. And which one should we start with? Because we've obviously got Assassin's Creed getting a series, if I remember correctly. We're getting earlier in this week we got Donkey Kong, kind of like fully confirmed. I think it was. We had the announcement of the Zelda leads, who the two, as far as I'm aware, relatively unknown actors who are taking on the roles of Link and Zelda. Again, if there've been other things, please correct me and let us know in the comments. But I personally, just quickly on that, I think it's great that they've gone with 2 actors that people do not recognize. I think that's actually a really good call for this live action Zelda film. But that's just my take on it. But I do know there were other ones as well. Of course, obviously, the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer. Of course, Carl Urban taking on the role of the one and only Johnny Cage, which is a stroke of genius? Question mark.
I watched the trailer and I know that it's going to be terrible. I know it's going to be terrible. I'm going to watch the fuck out of it. I love bad video game movies. Like, I love them. I prefer a bad, like, over the top, cheesy bad video game movie to a good video game movie. I don't need my Mortal Kombat movie to be cinema. Like, I don't need it. Like, I love the Tekken movie. It's abjectly trash. Like, I have the Doom movie, also Carl Urban, we love Carl Urban, but I have the Doom movie on DVD and regularly watch it. Again, horrible, a terrible movie. But I went to see it in the cinema, and that first-person shooter segment of it is, to this day, still one of the coolest things ever.
They did the thing from the game.
They did the thing from the game. It's so good. Like, it's like when they say the name of the movie in the movie, and it's like they said the thing.
This fantasy will be
my
your
taste
final
level is
one.
so low. But yeah, I think the Mortal Kombat 2 movie looks like it'll be a lot of fun. I think it's just like, you need a good switch your brain off. I love the actual inclusion of the Ed Balls line from Scorpion. And it sounded like they just ADR'd it over straight from the game. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're going to get him to record it fresh for the movie. They were just like, no, just say, someone just record it on your phone and just like put it on. Like, it's fine. Or
I've got
just,
an app that can do it.
You know, it looks really cheesy and really campy, and that's what I want from a video game movie. I think when they take themselves too seriously, they forget that actually a lot of the things that they're making movies about, like Last of Us and stuff like that, outside, are inherently a bit cheesier and a bit more camp than what you normally have in a movie now, because we no longer have, like, you know, Kickboxer or Bloodsport or, you know, all the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies that I grew up watching. Like, we don't really make movies like that anymore. So have a good, really corny video game movie that I can just eat an entire pizza while watching and have a couple of beers and just laugh the whole time. Like, that's what I want.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I've enjoyed a lot over the years, whether it's the good ones or the bad ones. And I will say that I think like nearly most video game movies, I feel, do sit above that bracket of films which are just like the schlock of, like, you know, the Sharknadoes and stuff like that. You know, I do think.
Wait, we're not going after Sharknado, are we? Like, wait.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm definitely not going to say it's cinema. Like, it's you know,
Okay.
it's something that happened. It was put to screen. I don't know if we can call it cinema.
It's so, but it's no, okay. We won't get into my thoughts on sci-fi original movies and the fact that I love them. Like,
we can strike that up when I'm a guest on GirlPod. But yeah, I do think that obviously, like, yeah, there has been a very low bar for video game films for a while. We've been happy with some of them because, again, they play into they normally are just doing a good enough job of being like, hey, we know the source material, we're going to do it by the source material. Whether or not that ends up being a good film or not remains to be seen, but you'll enjoy it because it's got all of the stuff you know in it, like the Street Fighter films, the original Mortal Kombat films, stuff like that. You then occasionally get an original Super Mario film where everybody's just like, what? Who?
why is this Goomba a weird lizard man? Like,
whose idea was this? Like, how did you get these people in this film? Why is Bob Hoskins here? What's going on?
That's cinema. That is cinema, though. We can't deny.
I mean, yeah. That film has a soft spot in my heart just because I grew up with that. And it's just like this is amazing. It's also weird as hell, but it's amazing. But yeah, what about you, Mark? Are you excited for next Mortal Kombat? Did you watch the first of the new Mortal Kombat films that came out?
I've got to be honest, I don't think I've ever played a Mortal Kombat game, let alone seen the film. So it's all completely like a bad gaming blind spot for me. Know all the quips and everything. Obviously, they're like, you know, known on the internet. But yeah, like, I just got this kind of vision that they'd just be like the UE Ball kind of bad video game films. Is that kind of like what?
Pretty
am
much.
I getting that right? Is it just kind of like you
Pretty
trash,
much.
but totally great trash?
Yeah. Lots of overacting. Lots of scenery is chewed to the point where it's just, you know, sawdust on the ground. You know, it's that level, but it means that you do get to enjoy, like, you know, as you say, the fantastic iconic lines, and you get the brilliant now memes obviously of it. Just live on forever. But yeah, like, so yeah, this would be something entirely new to you. Are you much of a fighting game fan then at all, or is that really more just like a general blind spot?
It really is, to be honest. I think the only one I've ever been able to hold my own in is Smash, and that's kind of its own thing. And
Yeah.
be careful when you say you can hold your own in Smash, because people get really particular about whether you're good at the Smash or not. But I can certainly hold my own. But I think certain fighters that I've picked up over the years. I remember one of my first 360 games around launch was Dead or Alive 4. And honestly, it drove me insane how bad I was at that game. And like, kind of 16-year-old, didn't have much money, so had to make this 50 quid game work. And it was getting battered. And I think that kind of scarred my kind of view on fighting games for myself. But yeah,
The
I mean,
jiggle
I think
physics, Mark, they were so good. Like,
yeah. Let's not talk about the volleyball games. Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I mean that absolutely was not the reason I bought the game. I swear, you know.
Wait, it was a fighting game?
No, don't worry, that's a girl pod conversation. In fact, that's a girl pod conversation we have previously had. Was about the jiggle physics in Dead or Alive 4, particularly.
We're already reworking old content.
We need to get you onto Mortal Kombat. The next time we all meet up, we have to go to like a video game like bar or something like that and make Mark play Mortal Kombat.
Definitely.
Just looking on see if it's on Netflix or Prime or something. I'm just checking my account here, but it doesn't look like it's on Netflix. Maybe it's on Prime, but you have my word. If it's available, I will watch it, guys. I will definitely check it out. It sounds like it's just dumb fun that I need to watch.
If you can find, so obviously there's the one that came out in 2021. If you can find the 1995 Mortal Kombat film where Raiden, the God of Lightning, is played by Christopher Lambert, please try and watch it. It is the epitome of the dumbest thing you will ever watch. It is a masterpiece.
It's true. It's true. And then I would simply recommend watching. I would recommend watching the Street Fighter films just because it has Raul Julia playing M. Bison. And the wonderful thing about that is the fact that that was the last film he was in. I can't remember which one it is he's in. Is it Street Fighter? Is it the first one?
I believe it is the first one, yes.
Yeah.
It has one of the best lines in all of movies.
Again, yes. So like, yeah, you must. This is now your homework, Mark, I'm afraid. But yeah, definitely watch this one as well because again, the backstory to it, he this was the last film he worked on. He passed away after this, but he knew that his kids were big fans of Street Fighter, so he wanted to make something that his kids would have that obviously immortalized him in something that they loved, which I think is really lovely. I think that's really wonderful that he had the opportunity to do that. Obviously, as a big time actor, it's not like he had probably too much trouble getting the role, but still very cool to think that he was able to then fulfill something so special for his kids and stuff like that, which I think is pretty nice. But yeah, they're brilliantly bad films, I think is the way to put it in general. But yeah, do we feel like is this something that we then like are kind of having almost become like its own thing then, and that it's sort of we are accepting of the fact that these films are now going to be this sort of, as you said, like corny, campy kind of thing, and like for a lot of people they just be like, this is just bad because it's not necessarily good acting in that it's believable acting because we can tell you're playing these goofy characters, but that's kind of what we want because the characters we play in the game are goofy as hell, like Johnny Cage, like in every interaction with anybody else who's like a god or something like that, or a guy with metal arms, and he's just sort of like, yeah, I'm an action star. It's just like
not the face.
Yeah, exactly. Beating people to death with his Oscar and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, what do we think then? Is this like just like a way that these films will always now be handled because this is the way we've accepted them kind of going forward, or do you think we'll see people try and maybe do a serious Mortal Kombat film or Tekken film or something?
I feel like you can't for fighting games. Fighting games make no sense. The stories of all fighting games are terrible. Like they just don't make any sense. And and then you get to a point where, you know, things happen, like we throw Hihachi into a volcano or whatever. And then just the next game he's just back, and it's like no one mentions it because, you know, people want to play him in the fighting game. So just all fighting games have terrible stories, and it's fine because it's a bit of a conceit of the genre. Mortal Kombat's called everyone dies in Mortal Kombat every time. Like, so how are you making a film out of this that I'm supposed to take seriously if everyone's supposed to fight to the death in every single match? It's just confusing to me. But again, yeah, I think for things like fighting games, I mean, the Sonic the Hedgehog movies have been great. They've been really fun. But they are also incredibly campy, and they've just sort of done their own thing.
100%, yeah.
And I prefer, that sort of fun, even if it's a fun, so bad it's good fighting game movie, or just a fun sort of campy kids movie, because all of the games that I think people will say that they want films and TV shows out of that have more serious subject matter, they're handled amazingly in the game. So, you know, they're making a Mass Effect TV show. Mass Effect is my favorite game of all time. Like, I have a Mass Effect tattoo. What is a TV show going to do that the game didn't do? Like, and don't say fix the ending of Mass Effect 3. That's like they're like, but they're taking away from the fact that if I talk to someone about Mass Effect, they're going to have a completely different experience of it than I did, because they have made different decisions. They had different favorite party members. I mean, maybe not, probably just Rex and Garrus. I feel like it was everyone's favorite. But you know, like,
which is funny because it kind of goes back to what we were saying last week, Mark. Sorry, V, but it goes back to the chronological mode that was added to The Last of Us Part 2, which I theorize is being added because of the people who have obviously watched the show and are now like, oh, it's a video game? Let me try the video game. And they've now made it run like it does in the series. So people can get a chronological, like, idea of, like, you know, they're cutting between Ellie and Abby as opposed to Ellie section, Abby section, Ellie section. So that like people who are new to it can go, or at least have only experienced the show, can at least be like, I know what's happening because this is running in the correct order of events, as opposed to me now having to be like, oh wait, no, when did this happen? And this isn't what happened in the show. Sorry, continue.
No, yeah, I think that's probably right, and it would be interesting to see any sort of data about whether or not that converts people who don't really play games into playing games. I would posit not even remotely. Like, if you already own a PlayStation 5, you probably own at least 4 or 5 different copies of The Last of Us, because that's how many there are. But like my mum might watch The Last of Us. You know, she probably wouldn't, but you know, she might. I don't know. Like, she's not then going to go out and spend £600-700 on a PS5 Pro to play The Last of Us. She's never picked up a controller in her life. She doesn't know how to play a video game. So they're not converting someone who might watch a drama TV show to a series. So it's either you are fans of the TV show independently of it, or you're fans of the game and then you watch the TV show because you like the game. And actually, I think a lot of people who are fans of the games and then watch the TV show end up hating them, and then they get a lot of hate and stuff like that online. Because if you're not going to do a 1-to-1 remake of it, and you want to make your own stylistic choices, which you assume that most showrunners would, and to make it a little bit more surprising, then people who like video games are really fucking opinionated about what they like and don't like. Like,
it's true.
It works well with something like a Fallout, because you can just have a character in Fallout that's just completely separate. It's like it's an RPG, but it's not an RPG with a set form of characters with a lot of decisions. They did the right thing. They set it in that world without making it really anything to do with the games. But then you have like what they did with Halo, which was like, oh, we're going to try and humanize Master Chief, and it's just like, this is bad, and not just because I'm a fan of Halo. It was just like a badly written TV show.
A lot of bad decisions in that one.
Yeah,
I think with like video game like series, I think sometimes like as gamers, when they get adapted from that, our medium. I think we expect them to kind of satisfy our taste and deliver kind of what we want. But I think sometimes, like exactly what V said, we're the most opinionated media consumption kind of subset of people going. Obviously, people are passionate about films, TV, books, but when it comes to games, we're far more diehard and kind of dying on the hill of our opinion than other people do with different mediums. But you know, these films, these TV shows, that they're made for other people as well. And I think sometimes it's so easy to kind of gloss over that. I absolutely agree that kind of things like Fallout, the individual characters that were established for the show were great. I think, but then you've got Last of Us, which has tried to follow the show. I've not watched season 2 yet, and I definitely will. But that's almost kind of turned a lot of people on Last of Us. I think some of that is largely due to the culture wars, which I'm not going to get into at all. But generally, I think a lot of people have really not enjoyed The Last of Us season 2 compared to the first one, and I think it's you know, it's strange because it kind of the opinion of the game shifts with the opinion of a show, and it's really difficult for people to balance that. But also, you know, these shows have been made for more audiences and different people. Like a few of my friends who've watched Last of Us have never played the games and they love it, but it's just difficult not to spoil it for them when they're watching along with you. But yeah, I personally, I'm all for adapting a video game franchise and creating something entirely new rather than trying to replicate what's already existed, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I think obviously, yeah, it depends very much, as V pointed out originally, it depends on the IP and how that is already kind of constructed. So, you know, if it's something like a Fallout or if it was to do Elder Scrolls or something. I mean, Mass Effect, I mean, I feel like is another one that you arguably you could start telling other stories in that didn't have to follow the characters from the game necessarily. I know the fans, again, like to Mark's point, the fans of the games would want to see that. But the people who are then put in charge, the showrunners and things of the new Mass Effect series, may look at it and go, we've seen what's happened with people not maybe being too happy with The Last of Us. We've seen people not being particularly happy with maybe how we handled the Uncharted film, you know, or whatever other thing that they can point to and go like, they strayed too far from something, but tried to also stick to what was recognizable. Why don't we make a new cast? We can have some really cool references to things that are related to the series, but let's not do Shepard. Let's not do Talia. Let's not do Garrus. That sort of stuff. I know, and again, I know that that's not going to be something that people want to hear. But again, if we're looking at this from the viewpoint of we're trying to appease a different audience as well as try to appeal to the gaming audience because they're the people who know this property the best. So we want to make sure it's accurate to the world, but do we want to tell the same story?
Yeah, do like the First Contact War. Make Anderson the main character. Do the First Contact War. Choose a point of time in that universe that people know a little bit about, but there is also like full canonical decisions that are made that are the same for everybody. It fleshes out the universe, and it's a bit of fun. And you know, you've got characters that people recognize from it, like. You know, there's Mass Effect books that I've read. Most of them are good. There's one of them that's terrible. I can't remember which one it was. But you know, but you could make one of those books into a film that's set in the Mass Effect universe that doesn't then try and adapt the game in presumably the most generic fashion. Like you're going to be like, okay, what's the most popular choice for this bit of the game? Like, so we're going to do this. So we're going to have like male shepherd romancing Liara, presumably. You know, Ashley dies probably because I'm pretty sure most people let her die. Like on Vermeer. Sorry, spoiler alert for a 2007 game also. But you know, like yeah, you've got like you. Are they going to put the fun bits in? Are they going to like have the bit where you get to punch the reporter when they get to the bit of Mass Effect 2, even though most people play Paragon? Are they going to let you are they going to kick the man out of the plate glass window for sassing you? Because everybody does it. Like, or is it just going to be like generic, pretty Paragon playthrough with no real drama because you kind of know what's going to happen? and you know, someone might die in the suicide mission in Mass Effect 2. Also, spoiler alert for a 2009 game or whatever. But you know, like, are they going to? Probably not. Like, I'm not. It's not going to be surprising to me, and it's going to be like a lot of the choices that I didn't take on my playthrough. So it's just going to be like a little bit boring to watch for me, a fan of the games. But I'm sure that other people might like it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. For me, and I don't know, maybe I don't know. I'm not going to say this is a hot take necessarily, because there may be other people who feel the same way. Because I recognize that with the Zelda IP, which is the one I want to talk about next, that the games have been quite varied in their aesthetic. You know, the color palettes, the style, like the art direction. You know, they differ pretty much every single time. I think other than like arguably the 2D top down, like, you know, Game Boy and DS ones, which all kind of have more similar aesthetics as they stay to true pixel art. But Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are the only two that have the same art style. Is that correct? Through all like the 3D ones?
Yeah.
Hyrule Warriors, I guess, if that counts, but I think that's kind of its own thing, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's like the Koei Tecmo, like they've got the IP to stick on the Warriors franchise. But you're right, yeah, they've got like two of those at least, I think, now as well. So like you've got like a more like sort of established art direction with those ones. But I've always liked how, like, with Zelda, they've approached each one, it seems, with, like, up until recently, a different art direction. You know, whether it was because of the themes of the game or where they were trying to, you know, obviously it's in Hyrule and all the rest of it more often than not, but, like, again, they can kind of mess around with it. And so, thinking about the Zelda film, personally, I would actually be quite interested in seeing them not necessarily do what I think they're going to do, which is a classic high fantasy kind of like saturated colors, like very vibrant, very kind of vivid kind of world and environment, much like you see with something like the ones I'd pick would be like Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild, all very lavish, like luscious, like kind of lustrous worlds. I wouldn't mind seeing them going with a darker kind of, not tone, but like world, similar to say where's the one where he turns into a werewolf? Twilight Princess. Something like that. You know, again, to take it to the extreme, I'm thinking kind of like Green Knight, the film, that kind of vibe, but not maybe getting quite as scary and you know, kind of freaky.
I know we could do that. But have you seen the moon from Majora's Mask? It's fucking terrifying.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're going to do a Majora's Mask film, absolutely, you go balls to the wall and you make it terrifying. But and there are definitely, like, you know, enemies, obviously, and stuff like that. That, you know,
have you seen Tingle? Terrifying, genuinely terrifying.
Exactly. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I could kind of see a Zelda film going from something which is less saturated, kind of almost playing into like the older sort of 80s, early 90s fantasy films that some of us may have grown up with, like looking at like Labyrinth, your Princess Bride, you know, that sort of stuff, and kind of, you know, thinking of kind of, you know, being up on like green like cliffs with like lots of mist and, you know, catching glimpses of like the magical creatures that make up the inhabitants of Hyrule and stuff like that, but it not being as like visually kind of not stylized, because again we're going live action, but you know what I mean, kind of almost like hyper kind of colorful and kind of glossy and everything like that. I don't know if I'm getting myself across right, but yeah, I don't know, I just feel like a kind of darker tone would be kind of cool with a Zelda film. What do you guys think?
I quite like that idea. I think kind of, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, kind of the more recent stuff, and we've also had what's the recent one where you play as Zelda?
Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the remake of
Link's Awakening.
Link's
They're the same.
Link's Awakening. Thanks.
This is the only thing I'm good at. Just like
keep going.
So yeah, those have like their own unique style, like a chibi style, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So the tone that Zelda's had recently, and I think something that kind of approaches the Zelda in like a dark way. Although we now know the the cast of Link and Zelda. I'm really intrigued to know who they're going to cast as the inevitable Ganon. Be someone that can be like a really dark, sinister, kind of evil character. I think that could really work. And I think that I've got to be honest, I'm not familiar at all with the people that have been cast as Link and Zelda, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's you were also saying that earlier on, Harry. But yeah, I'd really intrigued to see who they cast as other people in the universe of the film. Something dark, something that leans into. I really don't want like an origin story of Link. I think that's something that with Zelda timelines so darn weird anyway, and even if there is one, and it's all over the place. But I don't want an origin story. And I think if there's something that's kind of tells a really unique dynamic between Link and Zelda, because in the games it's always a bit kind of like oh, this guy loves this girl, but there's not really much in the middle. But I think if they can tell a really good dynamic story between the two of them, that intertwines their stories really, really well. And I think if they work together in the film, that's what's going to make it. But again, yeah, really intrigued to see who is going to be, hopefully, Ganon in this. And God, who could that be? Who could we have? I don't know. I don't know. Someone pure bloody evil would be.
Well, that's it. And I mean, I feel like with the fact they've cast these two lesser known actors for the roles of Link and Zelda, I kind of want them to keep doing that. I don't want them to suddenly just be like, oh, who's a big guy who can come off as threatening? Oh, let's get Jason Momoa in. You know what I mean? Like, I look, nothing against Jason Momoa, but again, it's just like I don't want to go into that film, and unless they do something to completely change his appearance and like that, I don't want to be watching the film and be like, oh, look, there's Link, there's Zelda, and there's Jason Momoa.
Make it Pig Ganon. Like, go full Pig Ganon. Like,
that would be kind of interesting. Yeah. That'd be kind of cool. I would be down for that.
But yeah, I'm just interested how they deal with the story of it. The fact that Link never speaks in any of the games, so it's going to be really interesting just to see, him as more of a character. Because yeah, as you say, Mark, he never really has like Link isn't a character really. He's just like the silent protagonist you play, and Zelda is like pretty fleshed out in a lot of the games, like especially like Twilight Princess and things like that. And obviously Ganon, but Link's just like, oh, the hero of Hyrule, and runs about. And if it's me playing Breath of the Wild, just fucks about generally, like doing nothing of value. Like, it's like, oh, go save Zelda, like everything's going to end, and I'm just like, ooh, bananas. Like, let's do we do some cooking, we go find a horse. Like
Oh, it's such a good time.
Yeah, it's so nice here. Like,
oh yeah, it would be very interesting to see how they try and structure it. Like, there's a part of me that feels like it. I mean, I think they could do a completely silent protagonist with Link if they wanted to, and I don't necessarily think I don't think it would be bad. I just think they need to do it correctly, and I think it would just basically involve Link being on his own a lot. That's basically it. Just him being on his own, adventuring, and it's sort of cutting then probably to like Zelda in Hyrule Castle, probably being imprisoned by Ganon, so that she's having conversations with him and stuff like that. Yeah. So they can have dialogue in the film, but it's just going to be pretty much just those two until Link eventually makes it there, and then she can then say, Link, and he'll just go, and that's it. Maybe that's when you cut the film. He opens his mouth and it just cuts at that moment. No, but I think also, like you said, Mark, I think doing an origin story would be daft. I think just do a voiceover at the beginning. Have Zelda do a voiceover, doing the legend, the whole thing of like wisdom, power, and courage, is it? And all that sort of stuff with the Triforce and all that nonsense. Just have her tell the story of the guy in the green shirt, and then it just cuts to Link chasing a chicken.
Crazy. Just like literally the opening of Dark Souls. Like, just Dark Souls opening.
But it's also, that's also literally the opening of like nearly every Zelda game though as well, is literally just slow cutscene or like rolling image and like someone talking over the top, either Zelda or like some old dude.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would be fine. I think they could get away with that.
Yeah, but I do actually think you have just described Breath of the Wild, because that's the opening cutscene talking about the calamity going over the like the whatever it is, what is that called, parchment, like or the tapestry showing it, and then it's just like, oh, you're finally awake, like like and then you just like go fuck off by
Well, then,
yourself, like
well, it's out.
Yeah, go on, off your pop.
go find a stick or something. What are you doing? Like,
maybe that's what we see. Maybe that's what we get to watch. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah. So
One
yeah.
thing I was intrigued for.
Mm.
So, sorry, Aaron, one thing I think I'm intrigued to see kind of what they do with it, because I think a lot of people would have expected Mario to be kind of the start of a franchise of movies, and I would imagine this is probably what Nintendo have in mind for Zelda. It kind of launches its own movie franchise. I'm sure it's going to be successful enough to warrant that, and I think this will kind of be the initial in what may be a trilogy or something. But obviously, the way that Zelda is traditionally handled is typically standalone adventures. I mean, you've kind of got half sequels like Majora's Mask and then Tears of the Kingdom to Breath of the Wild, but they're still standalone games in their own right. You can still totally play them as their own thing, and having a little knowledge of the prequels is fine. But I wonder, I think it actually could work really quite nicely for a Zelda movie franchise, movie series, if they were all standalone. And I'm kind of getting really ahead of myself now, but I feel that if this is left on a cliffhanger, somewhere in Hyrule at the end of this film, I feel that kind of would suck a little bit. I feel like the kind of the nature of Zelda is standalone. But then again, this is me who 5 minutes ago said, that there should be a different creative vision for film and TV, film and games. But yeah, I would like to see individual stories in this universe, and I think something like Zelda could tell it pretty well. But yeah, bring on the launch in, what is it, summer 2027?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that, Mark. I think doing standalone films would be the way to go. Don't do numbered sequels, sort of thing. Give them their own subtitles or whatever. And like you, getting too ahead of myself. I like the idea of, with every different one, you have a different cast, because Link and Zelda have looked different every time. Have different actors take on the roles each time, make each one feel distinct, but all part of the same history, legend, whatever you want, myth, whatever it is that you want to categorize all these as. This multiverse.
Legend is fine, given the name of the game.
I mean, you could have just not pointed that out and let it slide, but all right. Could have been cool about it, but no. Let's move on.
Yeah. No, I agree. Especially with the different casts thing, because the idea is, like, obviously in each game it is a different incarnation of Zelda and Link, Zelda and Link, and how they go through this is inevitable. It's always going to happen. Like, Ganon's always going to try and steal the full Triforce, and then he's going to try and take over the world. So just have that in the different ways that can happen in the different versions of Hyrule. Yeah,
I agree. I think that's the right way to go. So we've covered Mortal Kombat, we've covered Zelda, mentioned a bit about the others, obviously, in the sort of referencing them. Donkey Kong has been sort of more sort of thoroughly confirmed as happening, I guess is the idea. I think that was already rumored to be happening, and now they've sort of said, like, absolutely, we're doing one, which is great. And judging on the Donkey Kong Bonanza reviews that have come out, it looks as if Nintendo have made another banger. And it's the year of DK, it would seem. We will have the year of DK at some point, no doubt, when the film comes out. But the other one, which I think I mentioned at the beginning of this section, and then we will move on to our last segment of the show, it was the announcement of an Assassin's Creed series.
Yeah,
not another film. Yeah, with Netflix, which had a sort of interesting kind of description as to, like, what they were going for, kind of vibe-wise. I don't know if you guys saw that little quote about kind of the direction they were going to take the series in.
I just keep seeing the phrase high octane, and I'm like, all right, that means fucking nothing.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's just empty. But no, it was. I'm paraphrasing here. It was only 4 words, and I can't remember all of them. But it was something along the lines of sort of power, sex, violence. It was a bit kind of okay.
The problem that they had with the Assassin's Creed film, which I have seen, is that they took it far too seriously that it couldn't even go into it's so bad it's good category. It was just like so up its own arse for a film about you go into the Assassin's Creed franchise. I love the Assassin's Creed franchise up to a point. The newer ones are far too long for me, and I just get a bit bored. But like realistically, the Assassin's Creed games are kind of dumb. They're like a dumb person's idea of what a really intelligent thing would be. It's like, oh, we're going to go into your ancestor's brain, and so we can find out where they hid a thing, and it's all shadowy conspiracy. And then it just starts getting more and more ridiculous, like the Black Flag, which just like, oh, and everyone's doing this in a big company that's definitely not us. Definitely not just like us calling ourselves a big shadowy corporation that's also very shit. Like, but again, they're a bit of dumb fun that do kind of take themselves a little bit seriously. But it's just like, ooh, at the end of Assassin's Creed 2, you fist fight the Pope. Like, it's just like,
yeah, man.
You can't look at this and then be like, right, we're going to make really dark brooding with some romance and da da da. And I'm like, okay, don't be ridiculous. Come on. The best ones were Assassin's Creed 2. Just for that, definitely. Just retell Ezio's story. I don't need anything else. Just tell me the story of Ezio, and at the end of the first season, just have him fist fight the Pope. Well, I need.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I think they should just do 2 Brotherhood and Revelations over the span of however many series they get to have. Try and do the first game in one series, beat up the Pope at the end of the first season.
Yeah,
it'd be great. And Ezio is arguably one. Well, yeah, he's probably top 3 most likable kind of leads in the series.
Yeah. It's like, are they going to have the Isu in it? Are we going to get aliens? Alien gods? He's like, the more you think about it, it's like, and again, I love the Assassin's Creed, but the more you think about the plots that they just pulled out, I'm like, that's dumb as hell. Like, where do these alien gods come from? Where the fuck is this woman? Oh, Lucy's actually a secret Templar after she was a secret assassin. Spoilers for an even fucking older game. Like, it's just like, what is this? Like, yeah, they're dumb. I love them. They're dumb as hell. They're going to make it super serious, and I think it's going to just be a bit crap, I think, for the Assassin's Creed show, unfortunately. I don't know what you think about it, Mark. Are you a big Assassin's Creed fan?
I'm a bit of a fair weather one. I absolutely love. I loved Origins. Odyssey's in my probably top 20, maybe even top 15 games of all time. Absolutely love Odyssey. It was like my big first kind of COVID game as well, and sunk 150 hours sailing around Greece, and it was just absolutely magical. But yeah, like UV, I find some of them just a bit too much. I found Valhalla was just a bit of a after 40 hours I was done, just couldn't be bothered to finish it. And I've missed loads over the years as well, which hopefully one day I'll get back to. But yeah, you're right, it's just a bit of a wacky thing, isn't it? It really is a bit nuts. I have to be honest though, one thing I'm really glad about the announcement today, this is probably controversial to few, I'm so bloody glad it's not another Netflix anime adaptation of something, because I'm just not really an anime guy. And I struggle to kind of like take anime as serious as other people, and I get so much shit off my mates for that. They're like, you're that guy who says you can't take anime seriously, blah blah blah. But I'm just glad that they're trying something live action. So just kind of reading the site, the article on the site. So it sounds like it's going to be led by one of the guys that did Westworld, and Westworld's one of my favorite shows of probably the last kind of decade. And again, that was wacky. That was kind of taking a different location, so like an all to white Wild West. And I wonder kind of what that kind of weirdness of Westworld could be brought into Assassin's Creed, because it's just a weird series anyway. I just kind of wonder what story they'd want to tell here, because a lot of Assassin's Creed stories are very much the same thing, but just told in a different setting with a different protagonist or protagonists, but ultimately draw to a very similar conclusion. So if it's just that, which kind of fear it might be, a bit meh. But yeah, if it's on Netflix, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be watching it. But just intrigued to find out who's the cast, what's the setting, what's the kind of time scale, and yeah, I don't really have much experience in kind of what Ubisoft have been putting out in terms of like their franchise to game series, like franchise, sorry, to movie or TV from games, but. We're still expecting the Splinter Cell show at some point. I'd love to see something in the Far Cry universe. That could be really bizarre, balmy.
I think they
I'd
did
love to
do a
watch
Far
that
Cry
series,
film,
but
and it was really bad. It was another one like that Doom film, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
did
I
they?
don't know.
They-
Mm.
I think there may have been one. I know they did a Prince of Persia film.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah. The
rather
one with Jake
Yeah.
crap, if I
Gyllenhaal.
remember.
That was
hmm
so bad.
Yeah. hmm
I completely
Was it like
forgot about
3 years
that.
ago?
Yeah.
Really?
Real
Apparently,
shame.
Mark, they've announced they are potentially making a Far Cry animated series.
Would be, wouldn't it? Would be anime. Sorry.
I don't know if it's actually anime, but I think they have apparently announced that they're making an animated series for it. Are they making it
To be
like?
anime.
I think they're well. So this is my source for it here is. Oh, there is a Far Cry film. Yeah, it came out in 2008.
There we go.
It has 3.2 stars on IMDb. It was Yui Ball. Yeah, it was a Yui Ball film.
There's our man.
But yeah, apparently they've announced, according to IMDb, this is, so don't quote this as correct fully, but there's apparently they're going to make a like The Division film, or have they already made that?
Oh
It's
no,
in
it is. I
development.
think that
It also has
yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal in it, apparently.
Okay.
They were going to make a Watch Dogs film. They're going to make a Driver miniseries. Wild. And a fucking Skull and Bones TV series. All right. Like,
Oh man.
wow.
Good play.
And also a Ghost Recon. Yeah, a Ghost Recon. It doesn't say what it is. It just says Ghost Recon on
Just
this
Ghost
list.
Recon.
It doesn't say if it's a TV series or a movie or anything like that. So, yeah.
Fair enough. But I mean, to finish off this bit about Ubisoft in the segment as well, I like the fact that with the Assassin's Creed series, at least, like we were talking about at the very beginning of this segment, they have the choice at least to either decide if they want to go with a story that's already been told through one of the games, but it is also a series that they've spent enough time expanding and visiting enough locations that they could just be like, oh, we're going to set this one in that country, and then make a new character, and it's Assassins versus Templars, and there's a piece of Eden, and hilarity ensues. So it'll be interesting to see how they choose to handle that IP in particular, because it does have that choice as opposed to, I think, other ones that we were talking about earlier, where you kind of either have to follow the material to a T, or like a Fallout, go like it's in Fallout, but not the stories you've been seeing already or playing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit like Zelda, isn't it? So you could just have standalone stories in the Assassin's Creed universe, which they probably should also do because they're terrible at wrapping things up. Like just it's like, oh, the world's going to end in 2012. Oh wait, no, actually, it's fine. Maybe don't pay attention. Alien space lady.
Retcon quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who knows? Again, we've got all these other Assassin's Creed games to come out as well, the Hexy one and there's so many other bits they've still got going on. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see to get more information, I guess, on all those projects. And no doubt hear about other ones. There's probably gonna be an announcement of more stuff about the next Mario film at some point, and who knows what else. But yeah, I think that will close us out for the news portion of the show, and we will finish up now with what we are looking forward to. I myself really quickly want to check out that Shadow Labyrinth, the Pac-Man Metroidvania game, which is also tied into the secret level TV series that they did. It's not inspired by the episode. I believe it's just that the episode was probably made kind of with knowledge of what the game was going to be. So I'm really interested in that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's a couple of things I'm looking forward to, definitely. But yeah, I think that's the next one that's sort of high on my list to check out. Yeah. Mark, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to finally finishing Expedition 33, which will probably happen within the next 24 hours. And I feel like I've been talking about that game on the show since it came out in like 3 months, 4 months ago now.
Yeah, man.
So I'm literally, if I quick resume my Xbox after the podcast, I am right at the end. So I've finished all the Neverrun quests. I've done all the character quests after when they become available. So I'm right on the home straight now, level 60 something, ready to smash a certain somebody one last time, and really looking forward to rolling credits. But you know what? I just feel like I probably can't walk away from it. Then I feel like I've still got stuff to do.
Absolutely.
It's just bloody wonderful, man. I just can't get away from it. And yeah, also looking forward to finally getting stuck into some of the shite that I bought on the Steam sale. So stockpiling games on my new little handheld and finding minimal time to play the darn thing. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to for the next week.
Fantastic. V, what are you looking forward to?
Well, I too would like to play some of the games that I picked up in the Steam Summer Sale because I too have a problem, and Valve very happily indulges it. I'm also very excited to unbox and set up my MetaQuest 3 that I spontaneously bought at the weekend because my friend because my friend lightly suggested it. And I do not deal well with FOMO or peer pressure. So yeah, I'm excited to get that set up. I'm also excited for Wu Chang Fallen Feathers that comes out later on this month. Little Souls-likey, which I am a big fan of. So very much looking forward to that. I think it's the 24th of July. And then after that, it'll be Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, I think is the next thing I'm planning on picking up. Because I love a little 2D action platformer, and I'm a big fan of Blasphemous, and I'm absolutely ready to do myself an injury and swear quite a lot at my console in the process. But yeah, so if I come onto a podcast after that comes out with the same problem that Mark had after playing Bambus, so you'll know it's because I've been playing that and I've like just developed carpal tunnel in my wrist from playing too much Ninja Gaiden.
Excellent. Well, yeah, and actually, speaking of injury, there was that new big patch update that happened for 33 Immortals, where they have made some additions to things like the combat, where you no longer have to just constantly keep pressing buttons, which was I think one of the major complaints. Is now you can just hold down the attack buttons and you can just continuously attack. So I've already got that installed, and I plan on jumping into that hopefully in the next couple of days before I go away on holiday. So yeah, speaking of which, of course, yeah, we will, I assume, have an episode next week, but I will be leaving it in the hands of the team here whilst I am away on holiday.
Don't leave it to me. I'm not a responsible adult. Mark will have to step in.
You guys can work it out, I'm sure.
We'll workshop it in the background. Like
yeah. So that'll be. I look forward to listening and watching it when it comes out. But yeah, that has been this week's episode of the Gamer Social Club Weekly News Podcast. As I said at the top of the episode, if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. If you have any feedback for us, anything you'd like to share with us, any comments you have, please drop them in the comment section below. And subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. Anything we've talked about today, our own articles and things like that in particular, we will drop in the description below, so you can check all that out, including this month's demo disc, which is a Steam Next Fest special edition. So it's a bumper issue where we've covered over 20 different demos that you can try out right now for free for games that have come out already and games that are coming out in the future. Who knows, maybe you'll find your next favorite title. So there's always that to check out as well. And lastly, we are on all the social medias. That is Gamer Social Club and ourselves here. And all of those will also be down in the description below if you want to follow us, follow the site. And again, if you want to check out any of our content, please go over to check out the gamersocialclub.ca website. That is where we do all of our hard work, all of our writing. That's where the majority of the Gamer Social Club is based. So yeah, we really appreciate you going and checking that out. But yeah, thank you two for joining me this week. This has been really good fun. I think it was a good episode, nice theme for the episode. And yeah, thank you all for watching and listening at wherever you are. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, play some great games, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.